There you have it, another edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings Reveal Show in the books. We got this one, we got one more after rivalry weekend, and then it's the real thing, man. Then it's those final rankings on Selection Sunday. So what do these rankings mean? That's what I really want to talk about together here. I want to talk about what these rankings mean relative to what's going to happen the rest of this college football season, who's set up to do what. We'll unpack all that together right now. Before we do that, though, listen, let's be honest about this thing. You're watching a reaction to a college football playoff ranking reveal during Thanksgiving week. You're a CFB sicko, man. Welcome home. You're one of us. Make sure you're subscribed to join this college football sicko community, all right? So we appreciate y'all being a part of this and making this show what it is by being subscribed. Let's start, though, at number 15. That's where the rankings get a little bit juicy to me. Michigan up 3 spots. To me says, okay, you know what the deal is here. You beat Ohio State, you're in the dance. Because if you jump 3 spots after a win over Maryland, how many spots are you going to jump if you beat the number 1 team in college football? The mission is very clear here. The committee has moved Michigan up enough to where if you beat Ohio State, you're in the dance, period, mic drop, the end. The mission is clear for Michigan, and if you're Michigan, you're saying, here we come. All right, we'll see what happens. Vanderbilt, you're rooting for chaos, I think, still, that 14 spot, not up or down, but you do sort of get a maybe semi-early Christmas gift, a little early stocking stuffer, if you will, with a top 20 Tennessee team. So if we're talking resume, we're talking filters, doesn't hurt that you got a top 20 team at their place this weekend. Go handle business, Vandy. Root for chaos. We'll see what happens. Utah at 13. Miami at 12, huh? All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll keep this discussion between Miami and Notre Dame here a little bit later in these rankings when we get to the Fighting Irish. But the high score to beat here, with you going to Pitt to finish the regular season, is 22. That's how many points Notre Dame beat Pitt by. If you're Miami, you want to prove a point. You want to try and get into that comparative pool we keep talking about here. You go beat Pitt by more than 22 points, you're in good shape. Now just win the game. Win the game and maybe you get some help in the ACC and you find yourself in the ACC title game. We're not even talking about the at-large equation here for Miami. But understand, that still, I think, has to be in play here for Miami when it comes to the eye test and the head-to-head with Notre Dame and all those things. A little bit surprised that we haven't seen Miami in the same comparative pool just yet with Notre Dame. Heather Dinich being on the ranking show, who does a great job, by the way, saying the committee still thinks that Notre Dame is better than Miami right now. I like Notre Dame. I actually have Notre Dame even higher in my own rankings, but we'll talk about that in here in a second. But Miami, you're within striking distance, ranked 12th, seeded 11th, but the plot thickens. Now, ranked at 11 is BYU, and BYU is tricky for me to figure out. I just keep looking at them, and the further we get into this thing, with them playing a UCF this week, probably a win for the Cougs. I'm looking at them, man, it's going to get messy. Somehow, some way, it's going to get messy because I keep telling myself they're probably in if they get to the Big 12 title game and they play Texas Tech again and they only have 1 loss in the regular season, their second loss in the postseason to the same team. They'll probably get in, right? I don't know. I don't know. The 11 spot right now seems to be the spot before the cutoff at the number 10 spot, which is occupied by Alabama. So I can't totally put a finger on what's going to happen with BYU. I still think they would have a path in, but the further we get into this thing, I don't know how confident I feel in that statement. Number 10, you got Alabama. Don't care about these rankings. Beat Auburn. Straight up. Go to Jordan-Hare. Take the weirdness out of it. Win that game by double digits. Win that game by a point on the last play. Doesn't matter. Just beat Auburn. You're in the college football playoff. Vibes are immaculate. We ride. Now, Notre Dame at 9. If you're not going to move up a spot after 70-piecing a team, you're probably not moving up a spot after you go beat a Stanford team who's also 3-7 or 3-win team at this point in time as well. So it is what it is. But I think if you're Notre Dame, I'm cool with where they're at. I think they should be in the college football playoff. But let's have this discussion with Miami for a second here. I'm cool with hypotheticals in the world of college football. I really am. I think that this whole discussion around bias and, oh, they don't like your logo and this, that, and the other, I think that's garbage, quite frankly. The hypothetical conversation of, oh, well, they just love to play hypothetical games. It's like, dude, we don't have a bunch of these teams playing each other. So therefore, like, we don't have Ohio State playing Georgia this year. So therefore, we have to use a little bit of this beauty pageant science right now and rank these teams accordingly. It's not the NFL. We don't have everybody playing these common opponents and have like this perfect relative to the NFL system to afford ourselves to not play the hypothetical game. So that discussion, I'm really okay with having hypotheticals, but when the game's actually happened, when we've seen these two teams we're comparing actually play on a football field and one team beat the other team being ranked ahead of them, I get Miami's losses suck. I totally understand that. But at what point in time are we going to acknowledge the head-to-head of Miami over Notre Dame? And again, I still think Notre Dame should be in the college football playoff, but just this idea that we're still thinking one team is better than the other team when we've seen them actually play the sport we're trying to judge, doesn't that sit funny with anybody? I'll tell you what, if Notre Dame was in the SEC and they were getting this treatment, the amount of pearl clutching and the cries from the masses of bias and this and that, it would be unbelievable. So I'm not saying this to be anti-Notre Dame. I just want to paint this picture a little bit of everyone wants to get upset about certain conferences playing the hypothetical game. I'm cool with hypotheticals, but when the game's happened, let's all chill out a bit, all right? And I think we should maybe change our logic there. Neither here nor there. Oklahoma, number 8, the Komodo dragon of college football. A little bit ugly. Doesn't matter, though. They're dangerous. They bite you. Game over. They play LSU this weekend. Beat LSU, you're not only in the college football playoff, you probably host a playoff game. Ole Miss, you're in the 7th spot. It is what it is. Still hosting a playoff game. I don't think this was a situation where like Ole Miss is being penalized for anything with Lane Kiffin or anything that's happened on the field. Like I just think they're being put behind a team that jumped them in Oregon. And this is the committee dapping up Oregon at number 6 and saying, hey, good to see you. Hey, good to see you playing a good team and winning definitively. Now, if you've watched the show, you know we've been high on the Ducks for a minute, so neither here nor there. But good to see the committee saying, Oregon, we see you, we respect you, we're giving you credit where it's due. I still think the Penn State win was worth something. Neither here nor there, but Oregon at 6, probably the right spot for them. Texas Tech at 5, no real notes here. Still probably about the Big 12 title game in some respect for what Joey McGuire and the boys are thinking in-house, but Texas Tech, real deal, a problem for you. Should you find them in the first round of the college football playoff, make no mistake about it, and I think it's going to take a college football playoff game for the rest of America to truly see just how dangerous this actual talent level is in this roster, but I digress. Georgia at 4, A&M at 3, Indiana at 2, and Ohio State at 1. Now, I want to say this. Ohio State and Indiana being 1 and 2 right now, and you would assume are going to play each other in the Big Ten title game. If they both get to Indy undefeated, I think they're both getting a first-round bye. Like, how far are you really going to drop Ohio State if they lose to the number 2 team in America in Indiana, and vice versa with Indiana losing the number 1 team in America to Ohio State, both undefeated in the regular season? I think they probably would both still stay in that top 4, is my opinion. And I kind of want to ask that same question about A&M. Like, if you get to the SEC title game undefeated, are you really dropping outside of that top 4 if you finish second in the conference because you lost one game in the postseason in Atlanta to call it a Georgia, Alabama, whoever you want to put into that slot? I think that it's fair to lock the first 2, Indiana, Ohio State, into a first-round bye, and maybe, just maybe, you side-eye A&M as a team that could be a first-round bye kind of situation as well. Now, Georgia at 4, I wouldn't want to play them. I think if you were to re-rack these rankings in the month of November, I could make a case for Georgia being top 2, if not number 1, just for how dangerous they've looked. Now, I understand that ranked where they're at for a reason. I have no issue with that, but I just want to make sure that's out there. Georgia trending upward at the exact right time. And going back to the bottom of these rankings in the college football playoff bracket, Tulane at number 12 as the highest-ranked G5 team as of right now. So no real issue with these rankings outside of this Notre Dame and Miami discussion that just is getting like progressively weirder. If Miami can be defended against Pitt, I think you have a real strong case to be in that mix on Selection Sunday, but we'll see what happens. The matchups in the first round of the college football playoff here are juicy. We'll go back to Miami. They're going to play Oregon in the first round as it stands right now. I understand the bracket would look different because we're going to have an ACC champion, which right now would take some legwork to be Miami. But if you get Mario Cristobal's return to Eugene, that would be epic. I'd be here for that. I'd be here for those storylines. And the winner of that game playing Texas A&M, I'm here for Oregon A&M, Miami A&M. Like, that would be a phenomenal matchup. Be all the way here for that. Ole Miss, Bama. Who's the head coach for Ole Miss? I don't know. Plot thickens. But that's one that being played in Oxford, Lane Kiffin said, probably the biggest sporting event in the state of Mississippi's history. Here for that. Winner plays Indiana. Oklahoma, Notre Dame. Talk about just ugly, beat down, physical, line of scrimmage kind of game. Defensive Picasso, if you will. It would look a little bit funny. It wouldn't be the most aesthetically pleasing, but you sit with it, you watch it, and a couple days later you go, that was awesome. Those two teams beat the crap out of each other, and that's football at its finest in some ways, shapes, and forms. Winner would play Ohio State, so that in itself would be a pretty good ramp up for a physical challenge against the Buckeyes. And then Texas Tech, Tulane, winner plays Georgia. I'm just saying, man, Texas Tech and Georgia, if we got that matchup, told you, I don't think the line would be all that indicative of how good Texas Tech can be. And that's coming from someone who thinks Georgia is one of the best teams in college football right now, and maybe, just maybe, is playing better than their ranking as it stands. So, get at me in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Who's rated too high? Who's ranked too low? What do you do with Miami? What do you do with Notre Dame? The beautiful thing is I think the season is going to give us some answers here in the next couple of weeks. I think those fields that are 100 yards wide and 53.3 yards in width will give us some answers. But we'll see what happens here. Get at me in the comment section and get at me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, at JD PicKell. Enjoy rivalry weekend, man. Special thing, the regular season in college football. Enjoy the heck out of it. For Cato on the ones and twos, for myself, JD PicKell, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.